Hello, everyone. It's me hiding behind this easel, and I'm going to be using it today to tell our story. This is our last week in the story of Joseph, and we're going to do a little recap and see how the story comes full circle. So you might not be seeing me in the rest of this bit of the video, but don't worry, hopefully you'll be able to hear me. My friends are with me again today. So I'm going to use these felt figures to tell my story today. Do you
What story is that?
remember this person?
Who is who? What story is that?
It's Joseph, and he had two dreams.
Oh yes. Don't do it. Oh look. Don't wear it.
There's the dreams about the sheaves of corn and the sun, moon, and stars. And because of this, his brothers hated him and sold him as a slave.
Oh, that's bad.
And he ended up in the house of Potiphar.
Who's that? Who's that? Potiphar?
Now, Potiphar was a very rich Egyptian.
Oh, good food. Good food. Is he
And
doing well?
yes, he was doing very well, but his Potiphar's wife liked him as well,
Oh no.
and she accused him of doing something he didn't do. And poor Joseph ended up in prison.
Oh no. That's bad.
That was bad. He was in prison quite a long time.
Oh no, a long time.
When Pharaoh sent two of his servants into prison because of things that they'd done wrong, a cupbearer and a baker.
Oh. What is that? What is that there?
That's a little bird. And these things in their hand show the kind of dreams, show the kind of dreams that these two people had. The cupbearer's dreams and the baker's dreams. And Joseph told them what their dreams meant. It meant that the baker was going to be killed and the cupbearer was going to return to Pharaoh's service.
Oh.
There's Pharaoh.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, what did the cupbearer say to Joseph?
The cupbearer said, I promise to remember you to Pharaoh so that you don't stay in prison.
Oh, good.
Now, a long time later...
Oh! Is Joseph still in jail?
Yes, Joseph was still in jail.
Ooh, that's not nice, that cupbearer.
And Pharaoh had some dreams. He had a dream about some sheaves of corn, 7 sheaves of corn, and 7 cows. 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows, and 7 fat sheaves of corn and 7 skinny sheaves of corn.
Oh, more dreams, but is Joseph still in jail?
Yes, unfortunately he is. But the cupbearer remembered Joseph.
Good.
And he said to Pharaoh, I know somebody who can tell you your dreams, because no one else could. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph.
Oh, that's good. Hello, Joseph.
And he said, I hear you can tell me some dreams.
No, not tell dreams, surely.
No, sorry, interpret my dreams. And Joseph said, I can't interpret them, but God can. There'll be 7 years of plenty, and there'll be 7 years of famine in Egypt.
Oh, did he send Joseph back to jail then?
No, he didn't. Because Joseph was able to tell him his dream, Pharaoh made Joseph his number 2.
Oh, that's really good.
Second in command.
Wow, look at those
Lovely clothes.
clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, and a gold chain.
So he was in charge of distributing the food during the famine.
Well, that's good, but what happened then?
We're going to find out in the next bit. Back again.
Hey, we're back, but I'm going to read the passage for this week. It's Genesis 45, first 11 verses. Joseph was no longer able to control his feelings. His brothers were in front of him in this massive hall. So Joseph was no longer able to control his feelings in front of his servants, so he ordered them all to leave the room. No one else was with him when Joseph told his brothers who he was. He cried with such loud sobs that the Egyptians heard it, and the news was taken to the king's palace. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But when his brothers heard this, they were so terrified they could not answer. Now, I don't think they heard, is my father still alive? They just heard, I am Joseph. And let's be clear, where are they?
They're in this amazing palace in the presence of someone who looks like an Egyptian.
What did they do to him? They sold him as a slave. Here he is, and they've known this because they've been here before. This is their second time back. And they weren't happy with how they were frightened of him the first time because of everything that did it. And Judah was on his knees saying, what? Oh, I don't! And here he is. Here they are. They don't hear what he's saying because they're terrified. And let's be honest, if you go in, well, obviously you didn't get caned because you're young to get caned. But in my days, you got caned. So I dropped a ruler on the floor, and the teacher, the year 8 teacher, was not happy with me, so he sent me down to the head. Yeah, just dropping a ruler and making it worse. I know. And I got taken to the head's office, and in head's office, out came the killing. Now, that's fearful, but this is the head's office. As a, 8-year-old kid, this is fearful. But that's nothing. Absolutely nothing compared to the fear they must have had. How many soldiers, Pharaoh's soldiers, have they walked past? How many servants? All with the armaments that they had. They're in this massive hall. And okay, it's only Joseph and them. But they're well aware what's behind those big doors. They know what will happen if they're terrified. And they're terrified that what he's going, And so, the story continues. They were so terrified they could not answer. Then Joseph said to them, please come closer. Oh, no. They did. And he said, I am your brother, Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. Oh dear. Now, do not be upset or blame yourself because you sold me here. It was really God who sent me ahead of you to save people's lives. This is only the second year of famine in the land. There'll be 5 more years in which there'll be neither ploughing nor reaping. God sent me ahead of you to rescue you in this amazing way and to make sure that you and your descendants survive. So, for the third time, it was not really you who sent me here, but God. He has made me the king's highest official. I am in charge of his whole country. I am the ruler of all Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and tell him that this is what his son Joseph says. God has made me ruler of Egypt. Come to me without delay. You can live in the land of Goshen, where you can be near me, you and your children and your grandchildren, your sheep, your goats, your cattle, and everything else you have. If you're in Goshen, I can take care of you. There will be still 5 years of famine, and I do not want you, your family, and your livestock to starve. Forgiveness. Joseph is telling his brothers in many ways that he doesn't have to forgive them, because actually they were just servants of God. Carol's got something to share.
Well, it's interesting how everything's come full circle, because we had those dreams that Joseph had right at the beginning about his brothers bowing down to him, and also his parents bowing down to him, and they ended up doing that to go and get food when the famine was in their part of the country in Goshen. But I was just thinking about Joseph's forgiveness for his brothers. He could see how God had led him, but it's hard, isn't it, when we're hurt by people, to have that forgiving heart. My family always tease me and say, "Let it go," from the song from Frozen. But I really struggle with letting it go. But I just want to read you this verse from Matthew 6, and it's a reminder that if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. And we have to remember the enormous forgiveness from our Father and from Jesus by dying on the cross for us. And Joseph was an amazing example of forgiveness.